everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome back to some Heroes of the Storm. As you can see, today we're going to be playing some Cho'Gall. I'm on the Gall for this game, and it's going to have a lot of fun. I was just in a random unranked draft game because I couldn't sleep, and what do you know, the guy who was picking with me queued up Cho. I said, alright, I'd love to play Cho'Gall with you. So I hopped on, and I thought this would be a fun experience, you know, getting to play Gall, the kind of the turret, if you will, on top of a guy. I don't know, he was actually a very nice guy, very friendly, good player, so we had a bit of a blast. Let's get into it, just showing you some of these abilities here. So that W ability, you throw out these, yeah, her name is Nubkeks, so cool. You throw out those globs and they bounce, and the bounces go further the further you throw the globs and stuff like that. You can see my level 1 talent already coming into effect. It's this Eye of Kilrog. These things, it's a really nice level 1 talent. They give you a large vision thing. I can see I've actually just thrown down all 4 just around this mid lane, just giving us complete coverage on any flanks or anything like that. Perhaps a little bit overkill. I really never ever play Gall. I think I have him on level 4 or something. I think I played 3 games with him before. I think it was 2 games with the stim pack, could be 3, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But barely any play on him, so I mean, potentially this won't be the most amazing Gall gameplay you've ever seen, but it should give you a rough insight. I think it's hard to play him terribly, but I don't know, maybe I did, you could tell me. But yeah, these things, you have up to 4 of these Eye of Kilrog things. They got a pretty hefty cooldown, 40 seconds. But I just wanted to ensure we don't get caught out in any flanks or anything like that. Cho'Gall is obviously extremely tanky, but as you see right there, we're taking a fair bit of damage. You can be vulnerable to ganks and stuff, and you really don't want to die as him, so we're going to try to avoid that. In case you don't know what his other abilities are, his Q, obviously he shoots out this sort of narrow little skill shot, short cooldown, does damage, just pretty good damage overall. Maybe could have killed Kareme there if I'd hit him with the bomb. And then E explodes the bomb. Cho throws it out and aims it, and then Gall is the one who detonates it. So yeah, and I think Cho, you might be able to hear it here in the background. He normally shouts like bomb, and there's like a little sound as well that plays, so you know when it's coming out. You know, he's one of those heroes that will be maybe a little bit more effective if you're on voice comms or something. You can kind of communicate strategies or whatever. But I actually found you can do a pretty good job with Cho'Gall, even when you're not on voice comms. It actually isn't too bad. So don't be afraid to just play this with a stranger, and a nice way to make new friends. Gonna hit level 4 here. We'll check out our talent we get then, because this is actually a relatively important one to build with Cho himself, so worth paying attention to. Bombs out. Yep. Unfortunately, we do get picked off. That kind of sucked. That was unfortunate right there. Okay, so at level 4, I'm going to pick up Runic Persistence. You can see I'm actually looking to see what Cho is going to pick up. So Cho does pick it up. The talent for Cho is called Rollback. So he throws out the bomb. It does a little bit of damage whenever it passes over someone. And then obviously does a big chunk of damage when you detonate it. His Rollback talent means that when he rolls it out, when it hits max range, it will then stop and then roll back to you. Then I pick up a talent at level 4, which is called Runic Persistence, which means that after the bomb explodes, after I trigger the bomb, it doesn't get destroyed. So obviously these things synergize really well together, because if, for example, I need to blow it up on like the path out, then it's going to get, you know, a whole bunch of hopefully bonus damage from just its, you know, rolling over people damage, going over their faces on the out and then back in path. So yeah. It's pretty nice. This is probably my favorite combo. You know, it's just that little bit of extra sort of passive damage going on, and it does make it easier to, you know, to land bombs and stuff like that if he gets the roll back. You'll see me doing it maybe once or twice in this game, hopefully. I think I do is that, you know, I'll get someone on the back roll instead of on the out roll. Again, like as you get more comfortable with Gall, if you actually play him more than one game in several months, then you'll be more comfortable landing piece. You can see something I did here. I threw over the Eye of Kilrog right there, over the wall. Just giving vision into those bushes for chasing that Kharazim. He did get away in the end, but it was still, I think, a good idea overall. There we go. So you can see right there, I used that rollback, getting the Johanna when she was kind of close to us at the end. And we're getting away okay. I actually forgot to talk about one of his other abilities right here, which is his mount ability. So obviously Cho controls the actual mount. Gall gives him a speed boost. Also worth noting that Cho can see down the bottom left right there at his portrait. He can see the cooldown for Gall's mount ability. So I forget exactly what the numbers on it are, but it's like a small little speed boost over like 2 or 3 seconds. It just helps Cho escape some stuff. And that one is kind of important to have voice comms for. You'll see me in this game just using it whenever I feel that. Again, you kind of have to have a bit of a feel for how to play Cho as well. Just I'll kind of feel like, okay, Cho is going to be running away at this point. I'm going to pop this. Obviously, without voice comms, there will be some situations where I pop it and then he doesn't realize that it's popped, and we lose a couple of those seconds. So not super efficient, but that's just life, really. Unfortunately, that bomb does just barely miss, and Grammy does escape. We're about a level down, which is not ideal, but hopefully we can catch back up. And we'll see how things go. Worth noting, we've got a double support comp here. We've got a Rhaegar and an Oriel. Then we've got myself and Illidan. It's a really bizarre composition we've got going. Very bizarre. I could have thrown a bomb there to help the Illidan, so that was something. Or, sorry, a glob. I'll call them bomb, glob, and, I don't know, shooty thing. Could have thrown that to help Illidan, so slight misplay on my part, but didn't matter too much. Alright, come up here and start clearing this stuff. One of the things you can do on Gall, obviously, I actually have to say this as well from playing this, especially if you don't play him much. I'd actually recommend not turning quick cast on for Gall. You can like afford the extra time to just manually cast your abilities. You know, they're not super. I don't think you're ever going to be in a situation like on Illidan where you want to be casting stuff really fast. I think with Gall, it's okay to, you know, lose that millisecond, especially because you don't actually need to use your mouse for movement or anything like that. Your mouse is purely for aiming. You can see sometimes I have to, you know, just ensure that or get a little bit of idea, wait that half a second maybe, or a third of a second just to eye up the enemy team and see like, okay, which way are they going to move? Okay, they're going to move this way. All right, I'll throw the stuff this way. As you can see, the globs move very slowly, so. Excellent wave clear with Gall as well. One of the really nice things you can do. But yeah, I thought it was kind of nice to bring you this video because Cho'Gall has kind of seen a little bit of a surge in popularity recently with the last patch especially, and with the advent of Oriel. One of the big reasons he's been played actually in several of the games I've seen is that he combos exceptionally well with Oriel. Her trait, her Bestow Hope, obviously generates a whole ton of bonus hope when it's placed on Cho'Gall, because Bloodlust, by the way, hype. It's you know, that the way her trait works is that she generates hope, basically her healing energy, by placing this thing on, let's say, Cho'Gall, and then for all the damage they do, it generates hope. Well, seeing as we're 2 heroes in one body, that generates the damage of 2 heroes, so it basically gives her double hope generation. It's insanely powerful. This is a bit of a crazy fight. This is really like the kind of fight I want to see. They have lined up. Oh, beautiful. We actually pick up, I think, 2 with that 1 Q at the end there, the one shooty thing. That's pretty epic. Lovely AoE damage for me to enjoy. But yeah, Cho'Gall, he combos fantastically with Oriel. Really fantastically. So people can definitely abuse that. Especially level 16, you can pick up her Reservoir of Hope talent. And she can just get... like, basically that does every time she casts a max hope heal, it improves her max hope. And with Cho'Gall, seeing as it's so easy to charge it up, you're going to be getting out these huge, insanely powerful heals very quickly. It's extremely effective. Just warning about danger here. You can see, in fact, if you look at the mini-map right there, it was the enemy team where we're actually going up top, so that's fine. I thought there was actually an interesting strategic thing right here. You see the enemy team is pushing in hard up top. It's actually one of the tricky things with their composition when you look at it now, is that, well, with Oriel, Muradin and Illidan, it's like, how do we actually defend pushes? It's like this all melee, low damage team, essentially like Oriel's range, but she's got very low damage. It's like, if the enemy team does push in strength, what do we do? Very difficult. At this point, I actually would have, this is maybe just my playstyle, I'm not sure. I personally would have just pushed that bottom fort really hard, just said, alright, cool, if you lose the top fort, that's fine, we're going to take the bottom fort. We actually decide to rotate up. The enemy team doesn't actually go aggressive or particularly aggressive, they're just waiting for the top shrine thing to pop, so it actually worked out fantastically in the end that we just defended that for free, and now we're in a position to disrupt what they're trying to do. So that's cool. Personally, I would have traded. I like trading. I'm kind of aggressive and crazy and aggro like that. I don't like the longer games. I'm like, you know, let's go hard or go home. That's just me though. Usually works out. I think it would have worked out fine here. Johanna, hello. Trying to get that. You're not going to get it. That was a pretty powerful move by the Tyrant there. You can see we lost a whole ton of health from that vulnerability, plus the damage they're able to do. I'm just going to throw out as much damage as I can. Also worth mentioning, other talents we got as well. Level 10, we got the Shadow Bolt Volley. This is going to be your go-to level 10 ability. It's just this line thing. It is slow to move, like, in case you're wondering, in case you haven't played Cho'Gall before and you're going, oh, you're slow at moving that, or you're missing some of those. It does move slowly. Obviously, you swing your mouse, and then the ability, it swings around slower than you can actually move your mouse. So it does take some time. You have to put a bit of thought into how you're aiming it. Cho could also help you out by positioning well during that to maximize that as much as possible. It's definitely an ability that you want to work in tandem to deal with. So here I think we're gonna kind of debate what to do. This is gonna be a cool thing I think you gotta see as well, is that I think we do get one more Dragon Knight in this game, and I think that we get to go in it, the Cho'Gall get to go in it. I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure we do, which is kind of cool because you get to see that so that's unfortunate. Won't talk about like positioning or anything there. I'll just talk about the Cho'Gall stuff. But while you're in the Dragon Knight, right? Karazim, what is he doing? While you're in Dragon Knight, Gall is still able to fire his abilities. You're also able to fire all of Gall's abilities while you're on your Cho is on his mount. Doesn't dismount him. You can use him inside the Dragon Knight or Garden Terror. You can use it while he's stunned. Gall can always cast his stuff, essentially, without interrupting or interfering with Gall anyways. That is a cloned Tyrant. That's interesting. Here we go. We got the upheaval. You can see there, it actually pulled people behind us, so that made that very awkward. And then again, the positioning was just kind of awkward. It was not a good Shadow Bolt volley there. I'm not sure if that's a bug with upheaval or what, but sometimes it pulls things in front of you, sometimes it pulls things behind you. When it pulls things behind you, it's really crap, because it's like you can't just Shadow Bolt volley them, because they can just like run around you in about 1 second, and then suddenly most of your Shadow Bolt volley misses and it's useless. It's just one of those things. So that was a bit unfortunate. I'm not sure. Someone who knows more about Cho can let me know, because I've only ever played with upheaval once. So I'm not sure exactly how it functions. I've seen it do that a couple of times though. It throws people behind you. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Picking up more talents. I forget what I picked up at level 13. Ah, I remember now. So level 13, just looking at these first. I'm kind of curious. All of these ones at 16 look pretty damn good. I think I decided to go for the Shadow Flare talent here, which increases the width of the Q. And also applies a small slow, only 25%, but still, for a second. I thought that would be pretty nice. I picked it pretty much for the slow in this game. I said, look, we got an Illidan, we got double support. They have, you know, they have a couple of heroes that are really going to be messed up, like Greymane, Karazim, Tyrant. None of them are going to like being slowed. That's going to be pretty slick. In fact, that's basically all of it. None of their heroes particularly like being slowed. I said, that's going to be a pretty great thing to pick up. That's going to let me do a whole bunch of bonus stuff. You can see the Shadow Bolt volley, how much damage it can do right there. Greymane gets absolutely shredded alive trying to come in and fight that. So yeah, I decided to pick up this talent. I think all those level 16 ones look really, really nice, actually. I don't know which one's the best, but I thought this one looked pretty cool. I thought it'd be pretty good for this game. I like the utility of the slow. Gonna help out Illidan, shut down their team. Thought it'd be good. Level 13, I picked up the... don't know what it's called, but it gives you a shield whenever you hit someone with your globs. So maybe actually not essential in this game, considering that we've got double support. We should probably be fine. I picked it up nonetheless. It's gonna be the one you usually pick up. It just gives Cho that little bit of extra survivability. I figured, why the heck not? Let's just go for it. You'll see it now if it hits someone. Okay, it's not... Next time it hits a hero, you'll see. But yeah, there you go. Level 20, we're going to pick up Piercing on our Shadow Bolt volley. So the Shadow Bolts will just go through everything they hit. And obviously, it already does a huge amount of damage. This is going to make it do an even huger amount of damage. It's incredibly strong. Really, really nice. Oh, the Crystal Aegis from Oriel is also pretty good in Cho'Gall as well. That's worth noting too. But yeah, it's certainly part of the Oriel. The existence of Oriel has definitely led to Cho'Gall being pretty popular. And then on top of that, he also refused a few tweaks to some of his other talents. I'm not sure, maybe the Shadow Flare is one that was affected. I'm actually not an expert on Cho'Gall, so I can't say which talents were buffed or not. But certainly a few of those talents were, the lesser used ones were buffed. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, I've definitely, like I saw Tempo Storm, who are the reigning world champions, actually busted Cho'Gall out in one of their tournament games. I think after it they said it was a mistake and they should have just played a more standard team composition. But they did bust him out on Battlefield of Eternity. So there you go. I mean, it is at least, you know, they said it wasn't perhaps the best thing, but it's not the worst thing either. You know, it worked out relatively well overall, and that's pretty cool. You know, I think they won the game, I think. I think they did. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. They used it with Oriel, certainly. As you can see from that thing, let's talk a little bit about Cho'Gall counters. And there's the shield popping up. Kind of nice. But people like to pick Tychus. Well, okay, so the main counters, I suppose, would be like Tychus, Kharazim, kind of, and Leoric. I don't know, people like to say Kharazim is the biggest counter because they enjoy the 7-sided strike damage. But of course, Cho gets a Molten Block talent at level 13, which puts him in stasis, so he can just dodge the Kharazim thing. It's got essentially the same cooldown as the Kharazim thing. So if Kharazim does try to do that, you can dodge it all. It doesn't mean that, you know, you can't spread the shots out, that if another one of your allies gets caught in the 7-sided strike, they're probably going to take all that damage, which can be kind of gnarly. But it's right here, our teammates could have just run. Like Rhaegar's got no mana, he could just run and capture that. We could have got a DK and push core, but this is fine as well. Unfortunately, right there, Kharazim does dodge that. And then you can see trying to get value off that Shadow Ball volley. It was okay that time around. I kind of popped it in tandem with the upheaval, and it didn't quite work out. Oriel does get picked off, but oh well. Yeah, it's Cho'Gall. He's interesting. He's an interesting dude. I forget what I was talking about now, so I'm just kind of waffling. This is nice, actually. Nice engage by the Illidan. I actually really liked him picking up the hunt. I thought that was really slick. I think it combos quite nicely with Cho'Gall as well. There you go, Illidan just hunting people down. I'm doing what damage I can. Look at this to the bottom. I'm like, Mats, geometry. Yes, got him. Woohoo, got him with the globs. Didn't kill him, but he does die at the end. I was proud of that. I was proud of that. So I missed some real stupid stuff in this game, so I was like proud to hit something. Anyway. Yeah, it's comparing like Cho and Gall is also quite interesting because I think Cho is perhaps the hero that has the biggest like skill impact on a game, whereas Gall has one of the lowest skill impacts on a game, and that's because, well, Cho controls the movement. So let's say you have like a Grandmaster player and a Bronze player. If you put a Bronze player on the Cho and you put the Grandmaster on the Gall, you're probably going to have a very hard time. Whereas if you put the Grandmaster on the Cho and the Bronze player on the Gall, you probably have a really good time. Because in the first case, it's the Bronze players controlling the movement of both the Grandmaster and the Bronze. Whereas in the second case, the Grandmaster's controlling the movement of not only himself, but also the Bronze player, and can kind of make up for some of that, which is kind of cool. You can see just how much damage Shadow Ball volley was doing there. The core is going to go down here. This is going to be game. A big old Dragon Knight. We're get the kill on Kharazim for the end as well. Looking for the Turan kill. Don't get it, unfortunately, but we get the game. GG, everyone. Well played. That was pretty fun. One thing you're going to want to be careful about as well is... Oh, I was talking about counters. I'm an idiot. That's important as well. So Tychus is a great counter to Cho'Gall because the minigun absolutely wrecks you. It absolutely wrecks you. Extremely powerful. Definitely watch out for that. Pretty sure I banned Tychus in this game. That's going to be a major priority, is to get rid of Tychus. Leoric, also very strong against you. He brings, you know, quite a lot of damage with that W. If you get to endgame, if you get to level 20, his Spectral Leech absolutely destroys you as well. It can be very difficult to deal with. Kharazim, not so much of an issue because you can dodge his one counter thing with Molten Block. Nonetheless, you know, Kharazim is still going to be a solid choice, usually against Cho'Gall. And it does force you to use the Molten Block for that. It's showing you the talents here, so you can get all the names of those. Dread Shield. Again, could have changed that around, I think. I like the Shadow Flare. And then whatever the Shadow Fury, which is awesome. It's a beautiful thing. So there you go. I actually accepting the party, knocking me out. And yeah, so this was a Gall game. In the next video, we're going to be with the same dude. And we're going to play a Cho game. So that should be pretty fun. Let me just get the stats up here again. And then we can just for the end of this. So do check out that Cho video as well. Kind of see the other side of things. And it's important to know what Cho can do if you're going to play Gall. But looking at the stats, as you can see, we did a lot of siege damage. We did a lot of hero damage. Again, fairly expected. Gall normally has a very, very, very high damage output. You would expect to be top of some of the, probably both damage meters, or near to the top of both of them, depending on what the other heroes are in each game. He does a lot of damage. And that's what kind of makes up for the fact that he's, you know, they're kind of two bodies, is you get a very high HP hero, and then you get a lot of damage coming out from Gall. The fact that he can't be stunned, he can't be stopped, and it's like an assassin that's not squishy, effectively. And it adds up to a lot of damage. It's not very bursty, apart from the Shadow Bolt Folly. It's just this sort of sustained, steady damage, no mana cost, really nice. And a lot of fun to play. Definitely a very easy hero to play as well, Gall. So definitely hop on with a friend and have some fun. Or just try it out with a stranger. And you can make a new friend and have a blast. So there you go, guys. Check back. I'm going to actually have the second video up. The Cho video will be up basically straight after this one. So go check that out as well. And you can see videos about Cho and Gall and see how they're doing. Again, I've rated them fairly highly on my tier list as well. I've seen it several times in ranked, and it's extremely effective. If you pick it late in the draft, you can counter what the enemy is trying to do very effectively. And it can just be very difficult to deal with. People don't know how to deal with it. Even, I'm talking about like masters, grandmasters even. Sometimes they do struggle to deal with it. It's kind of silly. Well, sorry, going into season 2, grandmasters should be able to just fine. But let's say masters certainly can struggle sometimes, and they just tilt, and it's kind of hilarious and painful. So watch out for Cho'Gall. He can be good in ranked. People tend to underestimate him very much so. But definitely with the Oriel now, he becomes quite a scary possibility to pick up later in the draft. Just ban Tychus. Otherwise, you're going to have a horrible time. You can deal with Karazim, ban Tychus, and hope they can't get Leoric. And yeah, you'll be pretty good. Alright guys, see you all next time. Bye bye.